Welcome to Blue Monday in Ipswich Town podcast for the Rewind Show, where we look forward to looking back at the last time we played our opponents in a top flight match and maybe one or two, perhaps more obscure matches from years gone by. Hello, thanks for watching or listening. My name is Craig Fimbo, and joining me as ever for our Rewind Show, forming part of your weekly build-up, is David Diamond. How are you going, Dave?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, yourself?
Yes, very well. Thank you very much. Yeah, we've just been speaking off camera about the Southampton match, which you'll be covered. Well, you will have covered by the time we put this out. So yeah. I'll leave you to speak about that later on. But yeah, we maybe got out of jail a little bit on that one.
Yeah, I think we did. I mean, I know we all said we'd all take a point at the start, but yeah, perhaps a little bit disappointing was the overall performance. But anyway, onwards and
onwards.
Leave
that to the flagship. Yeah, well, everyone would have already watched stroke listened to by the time they listened to us talking about the forthcoming match. So yeah, we're now fully in our stride, aren't we? The Rewind Show. We're hopefully, I say, forming part of your weekly schedule leading up to the weekends, and this is the first of 2 weeks of claret and blue. Are we allowed to call them claret and blues? I don't know if there's a particular colour hue that either of them uses.
West Ham were always claret and blue, weren't they? They were always claret and blue, and I guess Villa must be the same as was Burnley. Yeah.
As opposed to a burgundy and azure or something.
No, always claret and blue. Certainly West Ham, and yeah, Villa must fall into that, surely. Yeah.
So what we're going to do for this Villa show, and potentially for the West Ham show next week, is we've sort of our own guidelines and rules that we've given ourselves is that we always talk about the last time that we played our upcoming opponents in the Premier League or the top flight as it was back then. So unfortunately, the hands are tied by the cards that we've been dealt with, shall we say? So we may or may not spend as much time on some of these matches than others. But please do, as ever, give us a thumbs up, stick some comments in if you're actually at these games and want to have a chat about. And there may not be too much to talk about the first one that we're going to chat about today, but please feel free to do so. Little bit of trivia for you, Dave. The last 5 matches we've played against Villa we have had 5 different managers in charge of.
Wow.
Including the forthcoming one, which I'm assuming will be Kieran McKenna will be in charge for that one. So yeah, each of the last 5.
Am I naming them?
You can do.
So obviously Mick McCarthy.
He was one of them.
The
first. The furthest back.
Oh, he was the furthest. Oh, the last 5 games against Villa. Blimey. Paul Lambert.
Paul Lambert was the one before McKenna. We lost away in January, 2019. One before that one, same season. Bit of a clue for you. Earlier on that season, the home game.
Oh, Paul Hurst.
Paul Hurst, yes.
Wow, okay.
Drew 1-1.
Oh, we drew. Crikey, that was good.
Yeah.
Why do I not remember that?
And before that one was the season before, end of the season, 2017, 2018. A bit of a arse slapping at home.
Go on, it was that. Go on.
Brian Clew was temporarily in charge for
yeah, of course.
4-0.
Yes, I remember. I do remember that one. Yeah.
Jack Grealish, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Team.
Yeah, he actually strolled round, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So Kieran McKenna is our 5th manager in the last 5 games to have played Villa. So we're heading back to March 2002, and unfortunately, as often the way with a lot of these games, is we have to cover the last time we played against these teams is very often the relegation season for ourselves, unfortunately. Yeah. And it's the same here. March 23rd, Saturday, the 23rd of March 2002, the FA Carling Premiership. Right, number 1, Dave. Here we go.
Need a clue. Obviously, 2000s, I'll need a clue.
It was, again, like we had one of the recent episodes, it's a talent show runner-up this time rather than winner. There were two guys.
Okay. So Gareth Gates. It's either Gareth Gates or Will Young.
So there you go. Who won it? Who was second?
I don't even know. I couldn't tell you who. Did Gareth Gates win?
No, he came second. I think.
He came. So yeah.
It was Gareth Gates.
Number one around that time. What was the?
It wasn't the stutter rap.
Yeah.
So it was
Will Young.
No, it was Gareth Gates.
Oh, it was Gareth.
And he was singing a song which has been covered many times before.
Unchained. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Got there in the end.
Yeah. So again, it's not a great game we're going to talk about, and arguably it's not a spectacular bit of pop history that was currently topping the chart.
I think there's one or two. I mean, you talk about the teams. There's one or two players certainly in the Villa team that I hadn't realised that played that day. But anyway,
yeah, we'll come out. So we'll have a quick look at the table actually before we get onto the lineups. So as you can see here, we were languishing 17th at the time of the match. Played 30 with 31 points. It just been. Yeah, one of those seasons, hasn't it?
I think we've just taken, after we'd had that brilliant run that we've spoken about, which began at Christmas right through into the new year, where we won, was 8 out of 9, was it? Shows how many points we had prior to that. I think we've just on the back of just had one draw in the last 5 games. So 5 games, had lost 4 and just drawn 1. So again, going into this game, well, you can see our predicament there, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the stats tell their own tale, don't they? Program, our cover star of the week. We spoke about him relatively recently. He was our one of our cult heroes of that particular squad on loan.
Oh, Sixto.
It was indeed.
God, look at that.
There he is in his nice baggy away shirt.
Had that shirt. Great shirt. Yeah.
Right, lineups, as you touched on there, Dave. Let's have a quick look at the 2 lineups. Ours, and we lined up without Sixto Peralta, who had failed to recover from an aggravated thigh strain, of all things. But luckily, we could bring in Finidi George in his place. So Finidi played right midfield in Peralta's place. But other than that, it's
yeah, I mean, that's the side. I mean, that's obviously Marcus Bent up front with Stewart. That's a decent front too. Certainly was. It should have been that season, shouldn't it? Obviously Finidi there, Serini in goal. Interesting, Jamie Clapham, obviously a Ryderson playing left back then. Jamie Clapham been pushed up onto the left midfield slot. But yeah, I guess the side other than who would have played Midgilton, perhaps, was he?
Yeah, I think he was on the bench.
So let's get the
Villa team up for
George, giving it more balance, maybe.
There you go. There's our Aston Villa team, and again, they're just some very solid Premier League players in there, aren't there as well? And as Gareth Barry obviously went on to make 5,000 Premier League appearances.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah, Dion Dublin was the one. You just kind of forget he was sort of still around then. So yeah, Dublin. I mean, I know he also had a stint, I think, back then at centre back as well. I think, but yeah, Darius Vassell, who was just about on the cusp of the England squad, probably then, wasn't he? Maybe a season or two, maybe a season or two later.
Steve Stone played, didn't he, for England a handful of times?
Stone played in the '96 Euros. He was in the squad, I think. Certainly got on. Hitzelsberger had a bit of a hammer of a left foot, I remember. But yeah, and obviously, just looking down, Peter Schmeichel in goal.
Yeah, and there's another little trick for you: a family tree linked to the 2 squads. What's if you took the squads rather than the starting 11s? There's a family. They're 2 players, one from each side, appear on the same family tree.
Go on.
Isn't Jim Magilton and Steve Staunton?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, brother-in-laws, I believe.
Yeah,
you're right. Oh, good spot. Yeah. And another one who had a bit of a hammer of a left foot as well, didn't he? When he won. Yeah. But no, decent, solid, really decent, solid Villa side. A lot of experience in that side, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot of, and international experience as well, as you say.
And obviously managed by Graham Taylor.
Yeah. But as you say, anyways, as we sort of said at the beginning, the actual match itself, I don't think will live long in too many people's memories. Given that
honestly, didn't register. I looked back at some notes of the game, as you know, you can see in the in one of the two of the Town sort of books. Luke Nillis, who was that terrible injury at Portman Road season before. He was introduced to the crowd that day.
Okay.
And the only other thing, obviously lost his, obviously, that finished his career. It's horrific, just in front of the North Stand. I don't, you must have been there. Probably were there that day. Oh, horrible. And the only other thing, I think Midgilton hit the post fairly late on in the game, but again, I have no recollection of that whatsoever. All I know is, I think, obviously we got a point, but ultimately, spoiler alert, it wasn't enough.
No, I think reading, it was either Phil's match report on TWTD, and it's quite interesting looking back on these match reports. You can tell how more professional Phil has got over time. He sort of veered away from the fanzine style match reports from 20.
They're brilliant to look back on. 22
years
They're
ago.
Awesome.
So now, that's right. They're a little bit more candid, shall we say? And he's quite scathing of Peter Schmeichel's time wasting, pretty much from minute one, I think.
Right.
And he also mentions the fact, as you say, about Jim Magilton hitting the post. It was that North Stand post that.
That right hand North Stand. Well, as you look at it, that right hand North Stand post. Yeah. Crikey, that did for us That did for us a few times over the years, didn't it? I mean, as I said, Graham Taylor, manager. Villa went on to finish a decent side. He said experienced side, finished 8th, so a decent season for them.
Yeah, so you look at the table after the match. Yeah, we've in that bottom 3 now.
So I don't think we got out of that bottom 3 then, did we? Do you think?
And neither did the other 2, to be fair.
No, they didn't. No, I mean, obviously Leicester are adrift, aren't they? But no, I don't think we did. We're obviously, spoiler alert, well, I know we won't cover this game, but upcoming, not just around the corner, is that Bolton Wanderers away game that did for us, didn't it, really? In fact, it was those 2 games against Bolton. We lost both. We lost at home, didn't we, and got hammered away by Bolton. You turn that result around and we stay up. One of those results around, we stay up. Fine margins.
Yeah, especially when you say there's still 7 games to go at that point, and we're only 3 points off of 14th.
I want to say what do we? I think we finished with 36 points. That's right. I think we won 1 and drew 1 of the rest of those games. Lost all the rest. I think we went down with 36 points. I think
momentum can work in both ways, can't it? Sadly.
Yeah. But no, it's good. It's good to see. I always looking back on some of those old sides. I mean, obviously our side speaks for itself, but looking at some of those Villa players, some really good old players in that team. And like I said, a lot of experience in that team.
Super stuff. Well, as I say, 0-0. We're not going to talk about it too much, but we are going to talk about a more
uplifting game.
Yeah, and a momentous game, I think.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, very much.
Way to look at it after a quick word from our friends at Atwell's.
Blue Monday is proudly brought to you in partnership with our friends at Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for work on property or business law. Their client care has repeatedly been recognised as outstanding, and they are people-focused with a plain English approach which sets them apart. They have offices in Ipswich, Colchester and London, and to find out more, head to atwells.com.
So as I say, we're sort of, our hands are tied slightly by the way we set things up. That we always talk about the last time we played these teams in the top flight in the respective home or away game, whatever it happens to be. Dave will then have a choice of what other games he wants to choose, really, not going too far back into the annals of history, but the potentially the most obvious, relatively modern history one, looking back 32 years, Dave, was the first ever match in the Premier League, August the 15th, 1992.
Which is incredible. I mean, where's that? 32 years and nuts. I know Brian. I can remember that weekend. So Brian Dean famously scored the first, I think, Premier League goal at Bramall Lane for Sheffield United. I think against Man U. No, I believe it was against Man U. Whether that kicked off early or not, I don't know. Whether they all kicked off back then at 3 o'clock. Someone out there will know. But yeah, this was obviously the very first game for us and Villa also in the newly formed Premier League. Great excitement at an all-seater Portman Road.
Exactly that. Yes, I was going to say 25,000 all-seater for the first ever time at Portman Road. But number one in the charts, Dave, is what everyone wants to know. And it was German dance group.
No, I'll need more than that, mate. I need more.
You need more than that. They had an exclamation mark in their name. Snap. Exclamation mark.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, Snap. Yeah.
Number one. With
Rhythm is a dancer?
Correct. Very good. Yeah.
I nearly said the power. I was going to.
Nicely done. Yeah. And our the first ever Premier League programme featured probably one of our, no disrespect if this player is watching or listening, but probably not one of the more glamorous players of that particular squad. Seems a very strange, bizarre person to choose for this. For the first cover star of our first ever Premier League match. He was probably the cleverest or second cleverest member of the squad, should we say? There were two brainiacs in the team, weren't there? I think.
Was Palmer in the squad by then, and obviously the other one was Phil Whelan, wasn't it?
Correct. Yes. So you have chosen Steve. Well, and even the. Yeah, anyway, I don't know who's in charge of...
Great looking kit, that, isn't it? That all blue. What a kit that is. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing, that kit. Super. Yeah.
Match sponsor, the National Westminster Bank. Kids after parents. Who? What the NatWest was. Is that
I know. Do you know what? This is honestly, I swear this is true. I had cause to go in the NatWest Bank to bank a cheque. My eldest son got a cheque, bizarrely. And he said, Dad, what do I do with it? I said, I think you need to take it in your bank, mate, the banker. He said, don't even know where the bank is. So I happened to be in town on Friday, and this is God's honest truth. I walked into the NatWest Bank and deposited his cheque for him. There you go.
Well, could you not fax it across to them or something like that?
Fax it.
Full 1990s?
Exactly. But anyway, yeah, it was. So it is still there in Ipswich.
It's a going concern still.
Yeah.
And another sort of, we're talking about the squad from what would have been Division 2, wouldn't it have been at the time? That got promoted to the first ever Premier League. We also, our referee for the first Premier League match was someone that we'd come across many times in the few years previous to that. And it's a name that as soon as you mention it will cast fond memories potentially of the fans of that time. Mr. Alf Buch.
Alf Buch. God dear. Alf Buch.
That's a blast from the past for
it. Certainly is a blast from the. It is a blast from the past. I mean, we go for the teams because there's a real observation when you go. Yeah, I mean, looking at that team, it's nuts, isn't it? Other than I think. There's one signing in that team. So think of what's happened in our transition to the Premier League from the Championship last year in a close season. And I'm looking through that and I see one signing, which is Geraint Williams, I think. Yep. I think that's it, isn't it? All those players literally would have been first choice in would have played possibly the last game of the season or certainly been in the squad for the last game of the season against Brighton. I mean, that's where things have changed somewhat.
Yeah, that's right. And reading the match report for it, and I think it was Tony Garnett's match report. That was the signing that we needed to make. Can you imagine going into the Premier League? The one signing you needed to make was a ball-winning barrel of a man from Derby County for
a consistent player for us. I've got to say, absolutely over those seasons, a really consistent player for us. Not known for his goal-scoring prowess, but I think I remember one at Reading.
Yes.
I think it was one at Reading. Not known for his goal-scoring prowess, but yeah, good, solid player for us. But yeah, when I looked through that team, when I was doing the research for this and looked through that team, it really does bring it bring it home to you. Flipping heck, it's just one signing.
Yeah, good stuff. Some good quality names there from that, as you say, from that promotion team. It's pretty much 10 of the 11 that were there. Obviously, one glaring omission, but he was.
We've sort of covered that before. I think he had a bit of a long-term injury, didn't he?
Yeah, sadly.
And again, thinking back, Geraint Williams would have effectively replaced Romeo Zondervan, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Who left at the end of the season, didn't he?
Yeah.
Right. In terms of Villa, and here again, there's some good old early Premier League names to conjure with you. Steve Froggatt, Gary Parker was another one, wasn't he?
Gary Parker, good.
And Sean Teal. I always liked Sean Teal as a player. Good old-fashioned,
strapping, mustachioed
centre half.
I mean, you've got some players, haven't you? Look, Paul McGrath. Look at that. Look,
Earl Barrett.
Wow, Ray Houghton, Tony Daly, and obviously the great Daly and Atkinson up front. I really the keeper's an interesting one. So Nigel Spink actually played in this must have been his 10th or 11th season, or maybe even more. He played in the European Cup final in '82. I think it might have been one of his I don't quite think it was his debut, but one of his very, very first games. So crikey, he gave some good service to Villa. But again, as we said previously about the Villa side, in the season we covered previously, a lot of experience there. And so, I mean, Paul McGrath, just a great centre half, wasn't he? What a player he was. Daly, pace to burn. Richardson, been in that Everton squad, that won championship, the old first division, the old top division.
Yeah, Peter Reid team,
Peter Reid team. And Staunton's there as well. Staunton.
This is what I was just about to say to you, is that we've just spoken about.
That's incredible.
So had he gone to Liverpool and come back again?
Must have done.
Between
he
the
did.
2 times, must have.
Yeah, obviously he had. He had. Yeah. And the great, and I think we can call him, great Daly and Atkinson up front, who's obviously fondly remembered at Portman Road. And I think that we'll get onto him in a minute, but I think, was that not the season where he won the goal of the season for the crazy goal at Wimbledon?
The goal of the umbrella?
Yeah, might have been the one. I don't know. It may have been a season later where he beats it's ridiculous, and he beats 5 players and then sort of chips. Is it Hans Sagers or someone?
Yeah, mate. It was certainly that other season because it was the era of the
lace.
Round,
the Town. They matched up with Town, didn't they?
They had the round. I think they had a round neck with the lace, didn't they? Well, we had a collar with the lace. I think.
Yes, I think. Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah, bizarre shirt that with a lace, wasn't it? Yeah. But anyway, very retro. Yeah,
it's a good one. That. So in terms of the match itself, it's probably remembered by most of our fans for the first goal of the Premier League campaign. We'd missed. Paul Goddard had missed a bit of a glorious chance. From a Gavin Johnson cross. But it didn't take too much longer for Gavin Johnson to make his mark, did it, Dave?
It didn't. It's a funny old goal, isn't it? Because I think the ball, was it Thompson or someone knocks a ball in from the left, and it's just a horrible shank clearance. I think from Froggatt, isn't it? He sort of gets his feet.
Yeah.
We'll get onto clearances in a minute, but I think if you think that's a comedy one, wait for the Villa goal. And he kind of just sort of gets his feet muddled up, and anyway, he sort of just can only sort of volley it virtually square to Johnson. What a goal this is, by the way, because he hits it with his swinger. It's very much left-footed, Gavin Johnson. Yeah. Sort of one control. He's about 25, 30 yards out. One to control his right foot, sits up absolutely beautifully for him and just hammers a right foot volley low past Spinks. Spinks got no chance, and he's right in the corner, halfway up the net. It's a brilliant strike, isn't it? What a goal.
Cushioned with his left and, as you say, swung it with his right. He's arrowed in, didn't it?
That's a great strike. It's a really great strike, yeah. And someone else about the day, we didn't sort of dwell on it too much. You said about the all-seater and the capacity and stuff like that. I noticed the crowd. We're hoping. Again, this is how things have changed. Premier League can't get a ticket now for love nor money if you haven't got a season ticket. Hoping for a 20, so all seaters. So I don't, as you say, the capacity, would it have been 22? I'm not sure what the capacity was. Hoping for a 20,000 crowd, just over 16,800.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, that's just what? I mean, okay, we've sort of tenuously put it down to a holiday season or something like that. But even so, interest just really wasn't there.
That's strange, considering there probably would have been over 20,000 for the Brighton game, the promotion.
25, I think.
Yeah, 2 goals from Steve Whitten Day.
Yeah,
as everyone remembers it.
Well, very fondly. 16,800.
Yeah. And those 16,800 saw Dalian Atkinson score a goal at Portman Road, didn't he? Bless him.
And
as you say, potentially helped a little bit by a combination of Ipswich Town players tackling each other and then
our brainy centre half not quite getting his feet sorted out, did he? It's a common. It is the ball sort of bobbling around the box. And you're right. I think it's a comedy. One clearance. I think the clearance hits. I think Linnigan. I think someone goes to clear it, hits Linnigan, and it bounces back to Phil Whelan on sort of kind of on the edge of the box, isn't he? Who's just almost like shocked. Oh, this is a ball. Can't sort his feet out. So kind of like someone who's never played football before, isn't it?
He really swings at it, doesn't he?
Oh, it's horrible. Absolutely takes it. Doesn't quite get an air shot, but it gets a bit of it. And something else that's quite good about this game. The who gets the assist? Cyril Regis by that time is on a sub. And big Cyril, not necessarily known for his finesse, but does well. Takes a good touch, puts it back across the 6-yard box, and Dalian just there to not one of his. Dalian's known very much for his thunder bastards, isn't he? But just taps it in from about 2 or 3 yards, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, and it ended up 1-1 in our first match in the Premier League, and obviously. I'll show it for completeness' sake. Found yourselves in. We don't talk about who's top of the. We'll quickly get rid of it. Actually, Arsenal were bottom of the league. Arsenal were bottom of the league.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah.
As well as I think Liverpool and Arsenal were the bottom 2 in the league after the first game. I won't tell you who Arsenal lost 4-2 to.
Yes, I can remember quite a nice goal by the now Coventry manager, I think. Yeah, Chips, a chip from quite a way out. Yeah. But no, we won't mention that.
But it's a glorious, as ever, as they always tend to be, a glorious sunny day for the first.
Beautiful, wasn't it? I remember it well. Yeah, you must have been there. Well, you were
there.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, brilliant. I think I was sitting. Well, I would have been sitting. I think I was in the west stand. Down, I quite a good seat. I certainly didn't have a season ticket then. No way. I think I was sitting sort of fairly level with, and probably where I sit now at the other end. I was sitting down t'other end in the north stand.
And I think I was sat where you sit right now, actually, GG or wherever.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I think I was sat there.
How bizarre! But yeah, good start. I think. I think we'd have probably taken that, but. Yeah, an interesting season, that one. A season full of ups and downs that season, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was brand new to everyone, wasn't it? You know, as you said about the Premier League and the alive and kicking promos and John walking the gym,
trotting out
with Gordon Strachan and Vinnie Jones and things like that. So yeah, it was that era. As I said at the beginning, given that we've had to talk about 2 draws for the 2 matches we've gone through so far, Dave's come up with a third that we're going to quickly talk about for one obvious reason more than any others. We're going to go back and we're going to allow ourselves, don't tell Rich, but we're going to go back a little bit further in time to the 6th of September 1980.
Here we go.
Which is slap bang in the middle of Dave's era.
Sweet spot.
And obviously, before we do, we have to go to the number 1. Dave, here we go.
Do you know what? I could probably. I won't now bore people, but I reckon I could probably name. Could I do it probably not in order? Most of the number 1s from 1980. So we're looking at, and I haven't looked at this. I kind of need a bit of. Okay. Here's the thing. Is it? I've got two or three in mind. Is it a band or an individual?
Are we playing a yes/no game? It's an individual. It's a Scottish individual.
Scottish individual. Is this individual male or female?
Yes.
Okay. I think if it's a Scottish individual around about that time. Oh God.
It was a female.
I know Lena Martell, but I think that was early. She had One Day at a Time. I think that was earlier in the year. I reckon this is Kelly Marie. Feels like
I'm in love.
I'm in love.
It was indeed Kelly Marie.
bang, 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 bang.
And did you know who wrote the song, Dave? Do you know who wrote the song?
Oh, no, I don't. Come on.
It was written by Ray Dorset of Mungo Jerry.
Oh, Mungo Jerry, there you go.
The man with the sideburns.
The man with the big mutton chops. Yeah, in somewhere in there, I can just about recall that. But no, that's a great bit of trip. Yeah.
And the song was originally intended for Elvis Presley, but he died obviously 3 years previous, so never got around to recording it.
I just cannot imagine. I can know the song. I can hear the song now. I can see her singing the song. I cannot see that as an Elvis.
I don't think I've had quite as many boo 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 boo.
Could have been boo boo boo.
Elvis was covering it.
Yeah.
Right. Quickly. Right. Moving on.
Go on. Moving on.
I'll show the table. Look for completeness' sake. Obviously, early doors. It's September 1980. But
look at this. That would put us. Hang on, a pound in new money. That puts us on. 10. Yeah, new money. Sorry. Yeah.
Level with Villa, though. To be fair, at the beginning of the season.
Wow. Yeah. Again. Yeah, look, yeah. I mean, while we're doing this, really, I thought just with a nod to one, everyone out there who's followed the podcast before and seen me on the podcast before knows. Obviously, I've got I like to indulge myself in that season. I'm sure there are a lot out there. I know certainly our good friend Jules loves it when we do this. The 80-81 season, love to indulge myself in that. But really, with a nod today to really sad news of passing of Gary Shaw. Which was announced, I think, last weekend. I think really, really sad. Only 63, and part of this Villa side that I know it pains me to say that ultimately ran the course and pipped us at the post for the title that season.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was obviously the main reason why Dave wanted to just have a quick chat about it was for that.
Just
for that reason,
chat.
Sad reason, really. But so we'll talk about the game anyway. Yeah. So let's just quickly get the teams up for people who are watching. As you can probably name the 11 from the Town side.
Yeah. Again, I didn't recall this. Again, looking at that, the one glaring thing is obviously McMills is missing. So Steve McCall is in, who deputised everywhere. That's certainly midfield and fullback, certainly left back. Mick Mills obviously missing for that game, and the ever dependable, who's had a great season as well, Steve McCall came in. Other than that, it is the team.
Yeah. So we did briefly show the Villa team, but
I mean, again, the incredible thing about the Villa side, 7 of those players were ever present. Were ever present for the season. I mean, put it in perspective, we played 66 games with UEFA Cup and our FA Cup run, blah, blah. They played 46 games. They played 3 games in the League Cup. We famously beat them in the FA Cup at Portman Road in January. But 7 of those players were ever present. Gary Shaw, I think, was the 8th most, made the 8th most appearances, and he only missed 2 games. I mean, it's just incredible. The team actually picks itself. And the one thing there is the left back Colin Gibson, who went on to play for Man U. He pretty much shared it. It's bizarre. He shared that left back role with Gary Williams, the other left back. They made probably about 21. I think it was 21 appearances each. But other than that, just the continuity of the team, and that's obviously what got them through the season and what won them the title, pretty much.
Yeah. But we did win this game, Dave, and obviously, do you want to mention how many times we beat Villa in that?
Well, we did beat Villa 3 times that season. Yeah, I mean, and probably, arguably beating them in the cup at Portman Road, maybe one of the worst results we had actually, as far as winning the league's concerned, because that probably led to another with replays and stuff, another 6 games that perhaps we could have done without giving to our UEFA Cup. But at that point, we were going to win the treble. We were going to win the lot, and we're very, very close to.
And obviously, and subsequently things have modernised, and now you purposely lose to clubs in the early rounds of cup games to give yourself time later on in the season.
But in those teams, I bet if you looked, I didn't look, but I bet if you looked at the teams for that January fixture, it'd be virtually the same. There wouldn't be any. You didn't make changes for cup games, no chance. No, and the squads weren't there, of course, obviously. Yeah.
But Franz Tyson scored and we won 1-0.
Franz Tyson scored, we won. All I can remember, I think I was in Churchman's for that game. It was a bobbly one up the Churchman's end, a bobbly one that went in. We nicked it. I seem to remember Villa thinking, they're quite good actually. And obviously they were. But I just wanted to do that really, just with a nod to Gary Shaw, who had such a good season. He scored 18 goals, had such a good season. He went on to win the PFA Young, not surprisingly, the Young Player of the Year. 23, just over 23,192 in that day. So back in those days, again, half decent crowd. But for some of the game, again earlier this season, but for some of those games later on in the season, you're getting 31, 32,000. So just the greatest ever season. Hopefully it will be repeated, but maybe not just yet.
Perfect. Well, so that's it. That's leg one of our claret and blue double. Thank you very much, Dave. We'll be back next week for more of the same, but that time it will be for the Irons of East London. But thanks, Dave, as ever, for your invaluable insights. Thanks for watching or listening, anyone. Hope you enjoyed the show as ever. As I said before, please like and subscribe. And you know how it goes. We'll be back on, I presume it's Thursday. We'll be back, given the matches on Sunday this week. Everyone, don't turn up to Portman Road on Saturday. So presumably it's Thursday night, Thursday evening for the pre-match, and obviously Sunday evening. Dave, Joe, and Ben will no doubt be back for the flagship to talk over the match, which finished a couple of hours previously against the Villains. Again, on Sunday, everyone, don't forget. This has been the Rewind Show on Blue Monday and Ipswich Town podcast. We shall see you in a bit.